If you want to see icebergs, Greenland is the place to come. They don't get any bigger or more beautiful than this.
The thing that strikes you immediately about Greenland is that nature dominates. There are no skyscrapers, no freeways, and with an entire population of 60,000, almost no people. Just this sublime, stark landscape where you're a mere witness to nature at its most spectacular.
And nature is always at work. Even as you watch, it changes.
Imagine a big piece falling off and it creates about 15 to 20 foot waves. Wow. And you have to get out very fast.
My guide is Finn Sigstad. As a Greenlander, he's learned to respect the ice.
When it breaks off, it's like an explosion. The air wants to get out, and that's why we see or hear a loud, cracking noise.
Well, the sound's quite frightening, actually. It's like the whole thing is about to collapse.
Yes, yes.
For Greenlanders like Finn, the disappearing ice is a weather vane. Proof global warming is happening right here, right now.
When you live here, you don't really have to be a scientist to notice the changes that we've seen. For about 10 years ago, all this Disco Bay area was frozen with winter ice. This is gone. This is history.
For most Greenlanders, this is good news. It's the start of a boom in tourism, farming and fishing. All the more remarkable when you consider this enormous island is mostly in the Arctic Circle, up near the North Pole. Greenlanders are a hardy mix of native Inuits and tough Scandinavian settlers who've made their homes the only splash of colour on this otherwise barren landscape. Like Finn, most are still traditional hunters using dog sleds to track seals and bears.
Okay, what's the magic signal? Yeah. Woohoo!
But now they're more than happy to come in from the cold. In the past 30 years, temperatures have risen by 1.5 degrees, more than double the global average. It hasn't been this warm in Greenland since the Vikings arrived here 1,000 years ago. All that's left of that once thriving colony are the ruins of their farms and this beautiful stone church.
Legend has it, the Viking Eric the Red, banished here for a couple of murders he committed, named this place Greenland. He did so to make it sound as appealing as possible, to entice his fellow countrymen to come and settle here. And it worked. For 400 years, the Vikings called Greenland home. Now, no one really understands why they suddenly disappeared, but most historians believe that there was a harsh cold snap. And unable to adapt, the Vikings became Greenland's early victims of climate change.
If there's a modern-day Viking, it's Stefan Magnusson. He came here from Iceland to farm reindeer, but unlike his forebears, he's adapting and making the most of today's changing weather.
Now they will be ready for Christmas, for the dingle bells.
This is a character who wears sealskin pants, speaks 6 languages, and is bringing up his young family in the middle of nowhere.
You're very resourceful.
Maybe.
You have to be, don't you?
You said it.
Stefan runs 2,000 reindeer on a vast property, 150,000 hectares of jaw-dropping wilderness.
It is such beautiful countryside.
It is
So steep.
really entertaining.
And high up in the mountains, accessible only by horse or helicopter, a glacier.
Now we're here.
Oh, it's a long ride here.
In the last 10 years, Stefan has watched this glacier retreat by almost 100 metres.
You see that grey area over there, approximately 100 meters wide?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a brand new land that has been coming out from the ice during the last 5 to 10 years.
In such a short amount of time.
Oh yes, yes. You know, you are really experiencing the global warming here. You're observing it happening, and I think Greenland is one of the few places on the planet where you really see it and where you sense it.
For Stefan, global warming means less ice. That means more pasture, and ultimately, well-fed, happy reindeer make more reindeer.
Good.
You live in such a beautiful, isolated place. Are you worried that the warmer climate will bring the world to you? That the world will discover Greenland?
No, actually I'll be glad, because sometimes we are a little bit too lonely here, and so I'll be happy to receive Australians as visitors here.
With the weather on its side, the south of Greenland is undergoing an agricultural revolution.
This is quite good quality, I'm pretty sure. It looks quite good, and it seems to be quite tasty for the animals. It's like salad. Yeah. Oh yes, it's sweet. So there's gonna be some really lucky sheep this year.
Lucky sheep.
Scientist Kenneth Ho is leading the charge, trying to turn a nation of hunters into a nation of farmers.
So things are looking good in Greenland.
It's getting greener.
You don't realise how tough it is to grow anything here until you see how excited Kenneth is about his cauliflowers.
It's very nice, actually. Don't think I've ever eaten raw cauliflower before.
No, but it's good, huh? Sweet.
Everything from lettuce to Chinese cabbage, it's all growing in Greenland's warmer weather.
Oh yes, it's sweet.
It's like you're in a lolly shop.
Yeah, that's right.
Crispy, small iceberg lettuce.
What do you think this experiment is proving or showing?
Well, it's proving that we are able to produce much more vegetables in Greenland, and that we don't have to import it by plane, and we can get a better quality and probably, hopefully, at a better price as well.
And then Kenneth takes me on a special detour. In a far corner of his farm, he has a prized forest of conifers, the only forest in a country with no trees.
So Kenneth, how old is this forest?
Well, they are 40 years old.
But it's only been in the last 10 years they've experienced a growth spurt, the warmer weather marked in their trunks.
You see the top shoot?
Yes.
And then it's 2006, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and around year 2000 is around here.
Yes.
So a lot of things has happened in the last 7 years.
So to have a growth spurt like this, what does that tell you about the climate?
To be honest, when I started here 15 years ago working here, I wouldn't have imagined that they would grow so good as they do now.
That's the good news on global warming. Here's the bad. When you fly north and over Greenland's vast ice cap, the downside of global warming becomes frighteningly clear. 80% of Greenland is still under ice. If it were all to melt, sea levels around the world would rise by a disastrous 7 metres. That thaw is already underway, and glaciers here are retreating at a rate that is shocking glaciologists like Ginny Catania.
It's been increasing in melt over the last maybe 15 years or so. Every year we see more and more and more melt.
Do you have any doubt that man's got something to do with this?
No, I don't.
Ginny's been tracking the movement of the ice using satellite positioning.
Oh, you found it.
It's cold, hard work, but Ginny hopes the data collected here will reveal if warmer temperatures are causing the ice to move down the mountain more quickly and in turn melt more rapidly. The glacier in this area is the fastest in the world, moving 15 kilometres a year down the fjord.
It's definitely been speeding up. And it's kind of, from our perspective, it's sort of a unique thing because we never thought ice could really go that fast.
Ginny has brought me to the edge of the ice fjord where the glacier flows towards the sea.
It's a great view out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
What are we looking at?
Well, you can see Jakobshavn Glacier coming into its fjord, and then the entire fjord is just filled with icebergs that are floating.
Yeah, no, it's turning right over.
The icebergs are unpredictable and as they roll, dangerous. But most of all, they're breathtaking. This is one of life's unforgettable experiences, to travel along the wall of the Great Glacier, where the glacier meets the sea, where giant blocks of ice carve off to become icebergs. "95 years ago, it's likely a monster iceberg from this glacier sunk the unsinkable Titanic.
The glacier here at Ilulissat is the world's biggest ice machine, making 20 million tonnes of ice each day in the form of icebergs the size of cruise ships. This one is a baby by Greenland standards, but it and the others that form here each day hold enough fresh water to supply Sydney and Melbourne for a whole year.
Even for Greenlanders like Finn Sigstad, the ice is still a source of wonder.
Tastes good?
It's a bit salty.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, you can almost see here the bubbles getting out from the ice. You talk to the ice somehow.
What do you say to it?
Well, if you're lonely, you have always somebody to talk to.
This is a rock from the underground here.
But not all Greenlanders are as romantic as Finn.
Metal in it.
The ever-resourceful Stefan Magnussen's discovered his reindeer farm may be sitting on a huge deposit of precious metals like vanadium and titanium. Apparently, Greenland is full of it, and the warmer weather makes it more economical to mine.
Yes, it'll be very good for Greenland.
Has there been an estimate on how much it's worth?
Approximately $200 billion.
200 million?
Billion
dollars.
Yes, approximately.
Disappearing icebergs, rising sea levels, unpredictable weather. This is the downside of a changing climate. But for Stefan, a settler from Iceland, the balance is clear. Global warming gives him the best shot at a good life. And after 500 years of living in a snap freeze, who can begrudge Greenlanders their time in the sun?
I know you're not originally from Greenland, but you love it, huh?
Yeah, I love it here. It's going to be one of the greatest countries on the planet with this global warming.
It's going to be.
You're going to be, yes.
Hello, I'm Tara Brown. Thanks for watching. To keep up with the latest from 60 Minutes Australia, make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can also download the 9Now app for full episodes and other exclusive 60 Minutes content.